Hey guys, it's the hardcore legend Mick Foley here, and I need to call a quick timeout, a brief timeout, because I wanted to tell your listeners what I have been telling Foley is Pod listeners for a while now about all the cool things happening over on adfreeshows.com.
We're joined by Wrestling Royalty as David Crockett takes us month by month through Jim Crockett Promotions booking logs. David and Conrad dive into the towns, matches, and money of JCP in January 1985 on The Book.
Charlotte is really the home of Jim Crockett Promotions, is it not?
It is. Yes. It's the home. The thing is, the Greensboro was always the home of Starrcade. That the bigger matches we would take to Greensboro. Main reason is over the whole area we had more population and road systems going to Greensboro than we did Charlotte.
We look back on the Turner years with the men who lived them. For the first time ever, JR, Eric, and Tony sit down with a couple of drinks and share stories like you've never heard before on the Ad-Free Show's exclusive After Hours.
For the 19th time, I had a regular size, grown up refrigerator. I was a grown up man. Money. And I had a washer and dryer. Shazam! And they were moved by Turner from Texas to Atlanta. They told me we're going to put them in storage while you stay at such and such hotel downtown.
Chat one-on-one with the Podfather, an extension of the popular Ask Conrad mailbag series. Conrad talks live with Ad-Free Shows members, answering their questions about wrestling, mortgages, and everything in between.
I appreciate you saying that. I feel the same way. You know, I've met a lot of great people through here, and we all have something in common, and that's our love of wrestling and our inability to just let it go. You know, we all have this insatiable thirst and quest for more, and we want to learn more and be more involved. And I think it's cool that we all really, for lack of a better word, share a passion like that. And as a result, man, we can have a lot of fun together.
That's just a small taste, a sampling, if you will, of what we have waiting for you. With 4 levels to choose from. 4. See for yourself why Ad-Free Shows is the best value in wrestling today. Sign up now, right now, at adfreeshows.com. Yeah.
The recognized symbol of excellence in sports entertainment.
We are broadcasting from the Blue Chew Studios. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code ARN at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. Hello and welcome to Arn. This is Paul Bromwell, and today I'm joined by the founder of the Four Horsemen, the creator of the Spine Buster, the owner of the Horseman trademark, the greatest television champion in professional wrestling history, and as we learned last week, a man willing to stand alone to defend what belongs to him. He's the enforcer. He's Double A. He's Arn Anderson. Double A, how are you this week, my friend?
Paul, you're looking slim. You dropping weight?
I have. I've dropped a few the last few months. Yes, sir.
You look good, kid.
Thanks. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, it's time for me to maybe buy these Horseman shirts in a little different size. So that's where we're at.
All right, and
Yeah.
I think you probably get them comp. Don't
Yeah,
you
no, I try to make sure that I'm just be like everyone else and try to hook up the store as much as possible. Speaking of the store, man, I don't know how to transition this any better. Buddy, we're seeing a lot of good stuff come in so far about those Horseman jackets.
Told you. It finally met my expectations. The quality, all the thing on the back, the Horseman logo, it's top shelf stuff, man. It really is. And I bet a lot of people have asked me over the years. I finally got to pay off, and the hats are equally as good.
Yeah, the wait is definitely over, guys and gals. If you haven't got one, go ahead and do so. The first wave have been fulfilled, Arn, and my social media has been blowing up. The research guy texted me when he got his and told me that it's everything that was advertised. High quality. He said it fits right. He wears a 2XL. He said it's perfect. And for him, most importantly, an accurate representation of one of the most iconic pieces of apparel that was never really marketed, that well back in the day. But they're a hit, man. And to our fans, you can find one in different colors. You can go to arnlinks.com and order yours today from Box of Gimmicks. But, buddy, they're over. People are loving them. They can't believe the quality and the embroidery work.
Really love to hear from the folks, like when they say they go to the mall with a message or what, and they wear it, what kind of looks or comments and stuff. I bet they're getting some positive stuff, huh?
They are, man. A lot of people are commenting and talking about it. I saw Brad Stanton got his coat, and some others are letting me know that they're getting there. It's exciting. It's exciting to see, and actually just have been a part of this process. When you started involving me in it, you're like, man, I'm frustrated. And now here we are, and we got product out, and people are pleased, and that's where the real win is. So I'm excited. But before we keep going on, because I know people are like, Paul, let's get into this. Let's get into the show. We will. But I want to make sure I give you guys an important update on Arn Anderson, My Life as Wrestling's Enforcer. Fully funded, expected release date, May 2023. Dirk Manning and his team sent out emails to the people that contributed to the campaign that made this project possible. So if you've not received your next step email from Dirk, check your junk mail. Make sure you go through your email and check for it. But reach out to him and his team by DM on Twitter or by email and follow up. But Arn, again, excited to see your graphic novel come to life.
Yeah, it's one of those things that lives forever, and took long enough for me to decide there really will be a demand for it. I never thought anybody would care about it, but I guess they do, and we're going to make it as good as we possibly can for them.
Buddy, two members of the Ad-Free Show family. I'm talking about old school wrestling fan Eddie Prather and the first lady of the Arn Anderson fan club, Amy Vaughn. We've talked about her on the show before. They're both going to be featured in the comic book. And talk about a treat for some of your most loyal fans that listen to the show religiously. But on behalf of Arn and myself, thank you, and thanks everyone who's contributed to this project. What an amazing accomplishment, Double A.
Well, it's only fitting that they're immortalized forever, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They'll be a part of that book forever.
Awesome. Yep, much appreciative to the wrestling fans. I never got a chance to, like I said, all the time, to say thank you. And without you guys, Paul and I wouldn't be sitting here. We wouldn't be doing any of this stuff. So thanks for giving me a career, and thanks for giving me and Paul a second career.
There you go, man. So listen, we're 4 minutes in, and we're ready to go. We're ready to kick off the show this week, and we're going to move on to today's topic, and we're talking all things inaugural Super Brawl, Arn, from May in 1991. But before we get to the pay-per-view that features every member of the Four Horsemen on the card, we're going to watch and discuss the build to the event itself. And that's some of the fun that we have being able to do that together on the show. And yes, as requested, we're going to watch the semi-main event featuring you and Bobby Eaton for the television title in its entirety. And Arn, you and I talked about it before we went live on air. We're going to play a little bit of it for you, and then we're going to pause as far as the audio and continue to watch it. And when Arn has some thoughts that he wants to chime in on, he'll point at me, and we'll lay out of the audio and let Arn talk a little bit about the match. So I am excited to do that. Arn, you ready to get going?
Stop.
All right, here we go. On May 4th, it's an edition of NWA Pro. You took on the up-and-coming Flying Brian Pillman. We've talked about him frequently on the show. And this match served to help get Brian over and move the story forward for 2 matches at Super Brawl. And so we're going to jump into our first clip of the week. It's 1 of 5. And we're going to take a look at what happened when you and Flying Brian wrestled for the television title on NWA Pro. This show is from May 4th, 1991. Let's check it out together, Arn.
Okay.
I would agree, and the first time in a long time.
Well, Brian's been on him since before he got in the ring. I mean, it's not been fair whatsoever.
Anderson to the eyes now. Arn Anderson, a reversal. Brian to the near side. Sleeper!
I can't tell from here if he's got a hook good enough, Tony, or not. I got to get a look on that right side.
He's got it going out.
He's going down.
Wait a minute! Barry Windham! And look at his hands! He has his fist all taped up and gloves on these hands. They're all taped just like it'll be in
He's
Super Brawl.
punching him, and I've got to say, I don't blame Barry Windham. Brian never gave Arn Anderson a chance off the bat.
This only a prelude of the taped fist match that you'll see at Super Brawl between Windham and Flying Brian. And now, beautiful Bobby.
And what's he doing in here?
It'll be beautiful Bobby and Arn Anderson for the World TV title. And they're going at it right now.
Oh, he beat him right in the back there.
It is wild here.
He's still kicking at him.
And now, beautiful Bobby being double teamed. Brian still
What happened to Brian? There he is.
Oh, he's in trouble.
Not that he shouldn't be after he's the... Hey, Brian's the one that started this.
Oh, boy, out goes Arn Anderson. Out goes Barry Windham. What excitement here on the Pro this week.
There they go. They're going down the aisle after him.
All four men with issues at Super Brawl.
Security around this joint.
There we go, buddy. It's a bit heavy feature of Brian Pillman, and that is something that we saw since Wrestle War in February, where he took the 2 power bombs from Sid and the War Games match. But speaking to Brian, he and Barry are building up to a tape fist match for Super Brawl, thanks to his continuous attacks by Barry Windham. And I think Barry had a lot to do with Pillman's development. And, him just becoming a huge star for WCW. We know you love both these guys, but in your mind, how important was it for Pillman to work a significant program with an established star like Barry Windham?
Well, it is for anybody. And the fact of the matter is that's how you build a baby face. The guy just when you think he's going to win, what do the assholes of the company do? They pile in on top of him. And he stays in the fight. It's not one of those deals that you leave him down all the time. You can leave him down once, and that's enough. But then you got to let the audience know that just because this guy's in trouble doesn't necessarily mean he's out of the fight.
And I think that Barry was probably the best horseman at this point to help do that for Brian. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, hell yeah. Barry Windham, I can't say enough. And I do, while we're on that subject, have a speedy recovery, buddy. Get well. Get all the way well from his mishap a while back. But Barry Windham was as good as there was, man. I can't rave about him enough.
Buddy, we also see Bobby making the save for Pillman in this match. And for our fans that might not remember this period of time, Bobby begins working in singles matches after Stan Lane and Jim Cornette walked out on protesting the booking in October of 1990. Being a family man, Arn, Bobby stayed with the company, working here and there until this program with you. But for the first time in a decade, once Cornette and Lane left, there was no Midnight Express in wrestling, and Bobby's working as singles. What do you think of Ole and Hurd letting Cornette and Lane leave the company? What do you make of that whole situation?
We know they left, and I don't think you could have talked for them to make that decision. Remember, that's guaranteed money. Anything else in the wrestling industry is chance. That was the only place that had guaranteed contracts at that time, right?
Yeah.
So it's like Bobby, and again, Bobby lived one street over from me. We're neighbors, we're best friends. We got really, really close during this time. But there was some stability in that fact that you know what you're going to make. If you go to New York, he had heard the horror stories from me, man. And we didn't even talk money, we just talked travel. So he decided, he was comfortable there, and he decided to stay and ride it out. And this was one of those things where, some of the upper echelon bosses would have been going, well, how much star power do you have in this match? These guys have been around here for a while, they're getting a little age on them, and all kind of things I'm sure went around the table. What Bobby and I knew was you give us 20 minutes and we'll show you what our worth is.
Yeah, and then as importantly as that is, Arn, do you remember what Bobby thought of all this now that he was on his own for the first time in 10 years? I mean, because this is different for him. He doesn't have Jim. He doesn't have Stan. And Jim was such an integral part of that. I mean, he and Jim Cornette, whether it was with Condrey or Lane, they were just staples of both NWA and WCW.
Well, especially with Jimmy doing all your talking. You know, it's like Bobby was kind of one-dimensional. Great worker, as great a worker as there was in the business, but he didn't talk. Now he's on his own. I'm sure he felt naked.
Got to be completely different, awkward, a change. You said naked. He has to be different for him to kind of find his way. It's a new time for him to find his way.
Yeah, and the one thing that I knew would carry him would be just the fact that his talent was just through the roof.
Buddy, we're going to get to see that talent all throughout this show. I can't wait. I've been looking forward to this episode as I was going through the notes and watching the clips. And speaking of your real-life best friend, our next clip features beautiful Bobby and Brian Pillman taking on you and Barry in a tag match as part of that May 4th, 1991 worldwide main event. We have this wild one in its entirety, Arn, and in our second clip of the week, let's see what happened when you four took the ring. Let's check it out.
He's 248 pounds. He is the WCW. Whoa.
Watch out! Here we go! They're not waiting to go to the ring. And they're paired off basically the same way they will be in Super Brawl. Arn Anderson, beautiful Bobby, will collide with a World TV title. And then a taped fist match. Barry Windham and Flying Brian right there. And Windham has these fists taped already, Gordon.
And they weren't waiting for bells this time. The only bells that are going off now have to be in the heads of these four competitors.
Flying Brian takes Windham down. Windham trying to find a corner. And you see on the floor, Arn Anderson, beautiful Bobby going at it.
Action all over the building right now, and that'll take your breath away.
Pick up. Windham places Flying Brian down nicely, and a battle ensues on the outside. My goodness. It's developed to a singles match. Look at this! On the floor!
And they're out there on concrete.
This is wild, and it's on worldwide. Right hand. Anderson's down. It is anything but a tag team match right now. Now you see in the ring, Windham, DDT. Right on, Flying Brian.
Well, action going on all over the building, and I can only say now that a good reversal here by Flying Brian.
High back body drop. There you see beautiful Bobby, he's injured. He is really suffering a laceration. Flying Brian with a drop kick off the top. Arn Anderson in. It's been anything but a tag team match, and that's what's been scheduled. It's been a four-man fight.
Well, and they've been battling that concrete as well outside the ring, and it's taken its toll.
Bobby injured on the outside, as you said, Gordon, with that concrete. Barry Windham raking the eyes of Flying Brian. All four are in the ring. Randy Anderson trying to regain some order here, and apparently cannot.
What a battle.
Double axe handle on Windham. Beautiful Bobby with a burst of fire right now. Arn Anderson working against Flying Brian. Into the ropes. Elbow.
Great second effort on beautiful Bobby, no question about that. And he's taken his toll on Arn Anderson. And it is Pillman being hurtled from the ring.
You got to give Randy Anderson, the referee, some credit. He's letting the four men fight it out on the eve of Super Brawl 91. Arn Anderson. Up he goes. Bobby beats him. Sweeping neck breaker. 1, 2, 3.
And ladies and gentlemen,
And could this be an omen of signs and things to come?
Tremendous win! The winners of the match, the team of Flying Brian and Beautiful Bobby!
Well, buddy, you guys were brawling there for sure, all four of you. It's clear the build to Super Brawl is on, and Bobby gets the pin over you with the swinging neck breaker in the middle of the ring. I do want to ask, though, I mean, they have all four of you kind of feuding at this point. Did you think it made sense just to kind of have you all four mixing it up for a little while before they would decide to break you off and do 2 singles matches at Super Brawl?
I think so. You know, just from the stories and Barry and I being partners for so long and Bobby and I being friends and put Pillman in the mix, that was just a 10-minute fist fight. Mm-hmm. It never slowed down. It never stopped. Nobody ever got a hold. It was just action. And I think what people will remember more so than the finish is they'll just remember, damn, those guys got after it.
You certainly did, and the program with you and Bobby heats up the following week. We keep it going on the May 11th episode of NWA Pro. After Bobby wins his match, you address the challenger for your TV title over and over again, Double A. You deliver that go-home line. I can't wait. We're going to check this one out. Let's see what the message is the Enforcer delivers to Beautiful Bobby. And this one, it's from NWA Pro. It's May 11th, 1991.
Beautiful Bobby picks up a tremendous win this week on the Pro here on Channel 9. And look here, at ringside, here's the World Television Champion Arn Anderson.
Let's hear what he has to say.
He's got a microphone.
Bobby, I'm going to make one last appeal to you before Super Brawl. Now, we've been up and down these roads for years. You're a great tag team wrestler, one of the best in the world. But now you're reaching for that golden ring, which belongs to me. Be content, Bobby, to be a great tag wrestler.
There's his answer. Beautiful Bobby and Arn Anderson going at it.
Well, there's the sportsmanship of Bobby Eaton. I hope Arn Anderson knocks his block off for that. That's ridiculous.
And they're fighting towards the dressing room area. Bobby's got a towel. What a match it's going to be at Super Brawl. It'll be for the World TV title, and we'll be back after this.
Arn, there it is. That's the official title of our show this week. Be content, Bobby, to be a great tag wrestler.
And that's how you build a baby face. He's kicking my ass every chance he gets, pretty much.
And what I love here, and I want to hear your comments on this, is you had a real-life close friendship with Bobby, and I feel like that always benefits a feud when you have people that are invested in each other's lives. Do you feel like when you have a connection with someone, that lends itself a lot of times to just having that better feud or program?
It really helps with the promos, because let's face it, if we're having a beef, it's if you love a guy like I love Bobby and we're friends and brothers and all that, and it's kind of hard to be as vicious as you would like to be because you just don't feel that. And this is the point in time where you got to pull out some acting skills, some chops, because you're not feeling it. It's got to be, manufactured. And that's where you find out where your pros are. Some people aren't able to do that, make you actually believe that, well, hey, this thing has melted down. These guys really are mad at each other.
And the fact, though, that you guys are such close buddies and hey, we got to deliver here, let's let it rip and have fun with it. There's a comfortability to being able. Is there a comfortability, I guess? I'm asking that question, to being able to let it rip.
Hit me.
Yeah.
I'm going to hit you. Hit me. And the funny thing about, just like Haku, I tell the story sometimes, he and I traveled together. We were like brothers, WWF. And, man, we would work matches against those guys, and he would chop me harder than everybody. Because I would watch. And his opponents, my partners, he wouldn't hit nearly as hard as he would me. And I would get the back, and I'd be going, Jesus, King, the hell what are you do I owe you money? Are you mad at me? What's the deal? Oh, fat man, I love you, brother.
Fat man.
Okay. So that's how you treat the people you love.
Can't imagine what he was doing to the ones he didn't. I mean, my God.
So, if you slipped up and knocked somebody's head off or you kicked somebody hard, the fact that it was your brother, you forgave.
Yeah.
You didn't get crazy like you would if it was somebody that you just assumed it was reckless or took a liberty. It happens, We hit each other.
I want to pause this episode of Arn to make you aware of something that Arn and I are really big fans of, and that's Jimmy's Famous Seafood. If you've not eaten there, then you don't know what you're missing. Check it out, jimmysfamousseafood.com. They ship food nationwide, and right now we have an offer for you. Free 2-day nationwide shipping on orders over $125. Now, that excludes steamed crabs and some fresh items, but $125. They have items like crab cakes, soups, chowders, oysters, signature steaks. I'm telling you, their crab cake egg rolls are to die for. I get it every time I go. When you use promo code ARN, just those 3 letters at checkout, you're going to be able to take advantage of that free 2-day nationwide shipping. They have several packages that make great holiday gifts, such as the famous gift box. That includes 4 of the world's best colossal Maryland crab cakes, 2 different crab soups, crab dip, seafood seasoning, and their signature base sauce. Or there's the tailgate bundle. 2 pounds of wings, a full rack of ribs, a pint of crab dip, and crab cake mix. Or you can create your own package, and boy, do they have options. They've been in business over 40 years. They've been featured in diners, drive-ins, and dives, and Bobby Flay, and so much more. So check it out, jimmysfamousseafood.com. Use promo code ARN, and you'll get that free 2-day nationwide shipping. Again, it's going to arrive so quick, fresh, ice cold, and you're going to be the hit of your next gathering. Take advantage of this offer right now. jimmysfamousseafood.com, promo code ARN. Well, listen, we haven't seen the Horsemen as a collective group up to this point in this week's show, but all the Horsemen, as I've said before, are active on this card for Super Brawl. I'm talking Barry, Sid, Rick, all featured with the very first Super Brawl pay-per-view. And I know our listeners will find this hard to believe, but Super Brawl, like the Great American Bash and Starrcade, was the creation of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. What a genius, man. He's behind so many events, and Super Brawl is yet another one, pal. So we're going to get into it. The event takes place at the Bayfront Center in St. Petersburg, Florida. 6,000 fans are in attendance for the event, with 4,887 paid. And we're going to begin our coverage of the event with this tape fist match between Brian Pillman and Barry Windham. This one, Arn, goes over 6 minutes, and Barry won the match following a low blow and a suplex from the top rope. And then following the match, Barry continues to beat up on an already bloody Pillman. For all their faults, though, the booking committee seemed to be making Pillman into a sympathetic babyface. But, man, that's what you want from Pillman at this point. You need him to be playing that role, and I'm loving it. Do you agree with making him that bloody victim in this one, considering the amount of time and TV that WCW had utilized to make him a top star?
You want to make Brian tough. You want to give him a set of balls. You don't want to make him a monster, because it's not believable, it's not credible. But the fact that he's convincing you now that you're not going to punk him out, you're not going to slap this guy and get away with it. He's going to fight you. And that's all a babyface really needs to have, is the people's 100% confidence that this guy ain't going to let us down because he won't quit. You're going to have to kill the guy to get him to stop. And that's the way they're building Brian.
There you go. So listen, the following match is one of your all-time favorites. It is Elegante, and it's a stretcher match between he and Sid. This match is the last time we're going to see Sid Vicious in the company, Arn, for 2 years. This is the last time. This is it for Sid, 2 years.
Hold it.
Go ahead.
Let me guess. They had to stretcher the audience out.
Yeah, you're not going to believe this, pal. I got the clip for you, so I'm not gonna
ruin it.
Spoil it for you. There you go. So this one features the 8-foot stiff and the man from anywhere he damn well pleases. And this is our 4th clip of the week. We have 5. The last one's you and Bobby. Here we go. It's Elegante versus Sid from Super Brawl.
It is a tremendous athlete, super powerful. Elegante obviously much stronger than Vicious. Another collar and elbow and shoves Vicious back against the ropes.
You know, he can move. Look at him now. Do a little bit of the road shuffle there just a little bit. Move real light on his feet, easing around, taking a look. Look how he dwarfs Sid Vicious, who is a big individual.
Elegante, a legendary basketball player in Argentina, drafted by the Atlanta Hawks. Vicious with a cheap shot.
He's got him rocking right there.
Vicious with a hammer right to the solar plexus, but it's reversed. And a clothesline.
Nice move right there, baby.
And Vicious doesn't like this whatsoever. That clothesline by the Giant has put Sid Vicious on the outside to regroup.
I tell you what, Elegante's, I don't know about game plan with him, but I know one thing, that he is taking care of his turf tonight. Elegante is the big star in WCW. This is a great matchup for him right here. He's in full control of this thing.
Elegante, that tremendous tendon strength in his hands. His claw hold is beyond compare. And Vicious, might have been a low blow there, Dream.
Well, he's trying to break him down, like we talked about earlier. When a different part of a body, you get it hurt, you've got to break him down. To break a giant down, you've got to go for a certain part of his body, mainly his legs.
Sid Vicious trying to force Elegante back into the corner. And now it's Vicious with the advantage offensively. Vicious backing away. Will he get momentum here? There he goes. And he's caught.
Elegante right there. Look at the claw.
He caught him right in the back.
You want to get it right there. He's got it. He got it. He beat him right there. 1, 2, 3.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, here's your winner, Elegante.
Elegante.
Yeah, watch out. Look who's coming in.
Here comes the one-man gang. And here comes Kevin Sullivan. It's the one-man gang attacking Elegante. And look at Elegante fight. The giant one-man gang.
The giant one-man gang is right. Kevin Sullivan in there. Watch out from the back. Well, this is broken loose right here. Pick him up. Yeah, baby.
He's got Sullivan up. He's choking the rats. Kevin Sullivan.
Oh, yeah.
Clothesline. The gang who
He's
weighs.
going after him, Jimbo.
The gang's over 400 pounds himself. 6 feet 10, maybe 7 feet tall.
Look at this. Put him on the stretcher.
He got him on that gurney.
He's got a giant on the stretcher right there.
Elegante hammering away at the one-man gang. Whoa! Sullivan, the pattern in the eyes, right in the face of Elegante. Well, now Sullivan beat him with that chain.
I tell you from the start, I knew that Kevin Sullivan and the one-man gang were in for revenge, trying to get the giant. The one-man gang wants to be the only giant in World Championship Wrestling. But I don't think, look at Elegante, going to take this line down.
Elegante right back up on his feet here. He is irate.
Arn, the squinting on your face, is that just how painful it was for you to have to watch that?
Did you say that Sid disappeared for 2 years?
He's gone, buddy. And listen, that was a stretcher match, and Sid gets, what, pinned with the claw? What kind of stretcher match is that?
Nobody got stretchered out.
No.
Nobody. There was no payoff.
So how does that, if you're a fan, you got to feel like you got shortchanged a little bit on that one. A lot.
Well, God almighty, we should never put Sid in that position.
Listen, our first fan question comes from Brandon Author, and he wants to know, is there a worse stretcher match on paper than this one?
Stretcher had nothing to do with it.
It was terrible.
There was no teases, no fighting towards the stretcher. Put him on, start to get out of there. The guy comes up off the stretcher. That's the false finishes in a stretcher match. I thought the only way you could win was to get stretchered out, right?
That's right.
So the pin made no sense.
That was hideous, and thankfully it was short. But as I mentioned, Sid's last match. This is his last match for 2 years. We know this is also the first step, Arn, in the dismantlation. They're fully dismantling the Horsemen of the '90s, and so Sid's gone, not replaced. Flair's going to be gone here soon. We're going to get to that in a minute. But how did Jim Herd? do I even want to ask this question? How does Jim Herd let someone like Sid, with the look, charisma, facials, all of it, I mean, he's gotten better noticeably in the ring, get away from him and sign with the WWF?
Well, from what I heard from talking to Cornette, and he has the story, you know, it's like, I think Herd was a Sid Vicious fan. And Cornette, there was a story about something, where he was trying to sell Jim Herd on Bobby Eaton. Well, Bobby Eaton's, he's not a star, Sid Vicious is a star, And Cornette said, yeah, but the thing is, if you book Bobby Eaton in the town, you can come back the next time. Basically just putting Bobby over for being talented. It was just, I don't know, man. I feel bad when you go back and see it, and you've been privy to see pretty much everything in this business. Quality work, guys that could talk, guys that could work, great bodies, guys that could sell stories. And you just see, I don't blame Sid for leaving.
And at least in that clip, dude, as soon as Sid takes the pin, he's gone from camera. You don't even see him. The one-man gang and Kevin Sullivan come down and do their thing, and Sid must have just rolled out of the ring, and he packed his bags, and he was on his way to up north. The
worst thing, there is a worse thing than a guy that hits you hard all the time, and you just know you're going into a bar fight every time. That's not completely desirable, but you can live with it. But when a guy's 8 feet tall and he wouldn't bust a grape with all the shit that he does, all his offense, it's just nothing. You wouldn't knock a Coke bottle over with the shit that he does. That's the worst scenario of all in this damn business.
Yeah.
It really is. It's just, and his stuff, that boot in the chest, oh my God, it wouldn't have knocked Smokey, my Pomeranian, over.
It's really so true. Yeah, you're right.
It was terrible. And to be Sid Vicious and be this monster, and you have this big guy, and the contact is just terrible.
Arn, it's pretty clear this match between Sid and Elegante was worse than bad. A true dud that stunk up the joint. The chemistry was gone, and without a doubt, Sid was checked out of this one. And guys, if I just described your bedroom life, there's only one partner, one gimmick, one solution that you need to consider to return to form, and that's our friends over at Blue Chew. Isn't that right, Arn?
He's doing the Blue Chew again. You see he's smiling, and he's skinny now, too. So I got a feeling he's going to be like a wild Indian when he gets that next load of Blue Chew. So just warning you.
Certainly a lot more active than Elegante in a stretcher match. Listen,
for sure.
Blue Chew is an online prescription service, and there are no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, no waiting in line at the pharmacy, and it ships right to your door in a discreet package. The process is simple. All you got to do is sign up at BlueChew.com. You consult with one of their licensed medical providers. That's easy. And once you're approved, you're going to get your prescription within days. The best part, it's all done online. And if you don't like swallowing pills, no problems there. Blue Chew's tablets are chewable. There are all kinds of reasons guys aren't able to perform. Maybe you just can't perform because you suck at performing like Elegante. Maybe it's your age. Maybe it's your medical condition. For the older guys, stress and anxiety, who knows? Arn, I'm sure you've heard of performance anxiety. It just doesn't happen in the ring, pal. It happens in the bedroom all over this great country.
Yeah, and hey, here's the bottom line. You get your first one from free. I took care of it. Free is unbelievable. Look at the competitor. Look at the competition. You priced one of those lately? Wow. Blue Chew, man, there's no other way to go. You want to be Superman? You want to kick the door open like Jean-Claude Keeley? Get you a couple of those Blue Chews, baby.
Take it from the enforcer. You'll be spine busting. Ladies all over the place. Listen, BlueChew.com. Make sure you're able to perform at your best every time. The promo code is ARN at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com. Promo code ARN to receive your first month free. Go to BlueChew.com for more details and safety info. Arn, the main event of this show is Ric Flair wrestling Tatsumi Fujinami. Fujinami was billed as the NWA champion. We talked about that. We covered that show. And Flair was billed as the WCW world champion. And this is the payoff. This is the whole payoff to that angle. And it began in March of this year. Flair won the match with a roll-up and a handful of tights. Hattori was knocked down, and Bill Alfonso made the count. This would officially put a bow on this program. But concerning the two championships, a wrestling historian on Instagram wants to know, what are your thoughts, Arn, on having two world champions in WCW at this point? Thanks in advance for answering. Did you like that at all?
So they just manufactured another championship?
Yeah, they kind of had that NWA championship because, remember, Flair brought the big gold back with him from WWEF at the time, right? And then you still had the WCW world champion. So they were trying to do like an international NWA championship champion. You had the WCW world champion. And it was kind of running in parallel with each other at this point. And so his question is, what did you think about having these two world champions at this time in the company?
Well, I think you should consolidate them. It's just too damn confusing, you know. You got one world champion, that's it. You should have one television champion, that's it. One set of tag belts, that's it. And then if you're going to use the Intercontinental title or the U.S. Championship as the number one contender for the world title, that's all the titles you need.
Well, Arn, we're going to talk about what I consider to be the main event of that show, and it's the Arn show, so it is your match. That's what we're calling the main event. But on the show itself, it's the semi-main event, and it's you and Bobby Eaton wrestling for the television title. This one goes about 12 minutes long, and, pal, we're going to watch the whole thing. From you coming down in those, you're wearing, I think, yellow trunks, you are, and you're looking so tan. There's something about the yellow trunks that make that tan look a little bit more golden on that night. And what we're going to do is, as we watch this 12 minutes together, is I want you to comment on the moves and some of the psychology. We'll talk about the fans and the reactions, anything that strikes you as we watch it. This is our fifth and final clip, and Arn, by your request, we're going to watch this together. It's Bobby Eaton, one of your best friends of all time, versus Arn Anderson for the television title, Super Brawl 1. And I'm going to start off by playing the audio, and then, Arn, when you kind of point at me or nod at me, I'll mute the audio, and we can listen to what your comments are. Here we go.
And ladies and gentlemen, his opponent from Minnesota, weighing 248 pounds, he is the WCW World Television Champion, the Enforcer, Arn Anderson.
A man that many consider to be the greatest television champion in the history of WCW. The Enforcer, the man with a dynamic left hand, the man that has perfected the spine buster slam. But we talk about his left, we got to talk about Bobby Eaton's right.
Bobby Eaton's right. We're talking about Arn Anderson's left, but we're talking about, with Arn Anderson, I believe, the greatest television champion of all time.
Fans here solidly behind the humble young man from Huntsville, Alabama.
We are part tonight of the greatest wrestling, professional WCW wrestling in the world, and we're going to see a great world's television title match here, baby.
Both men getting loose. Both men have extensive scouting reports on the other. I don't think that either can do anything that will surprise the other.
No, I don't think surprising. You know, we talk about the Andersons. They were great tag teams. We talk about Bobby Eaton, great tag teams. But when Arn went out to be the Enforcer, there you go. You were talking right hand. Let's talk right hand, baby.
Oh, Arn Anderson.
One punch.
That's all it took, man.
That's how you get a guy's punch over right off the get-go. Just one.
I love how you guys started off with that exchange, the headlock takeover right into the head scissors. Not once, not twice, but 3 times.
Nobody saw the punch coming. Bobby is, got a fantastic punch, and I just wanted to sell it like it needed to be sold. I made it a weapon early on. Just one will knock you on your ass.
telling that story. Look at you looking at yourself there with those big eyes, continuing through facials to tell the story. Nick Patrick, your referee in this one.
Here in St. Pete. Of course, fans, we'll be back with you on Sunday, July 14th for the Great American Bash from Baltimore. Anderson, left hand to the ribs.
Well, the enforcer himself has taken control early in this match, but sometimes you can go too early. You can use your steam up.
Anderson, nice reversal and a good counter move. And Bobby caught him with a knee right under the jaw. Caught him with a foot, that time right on the jaw. Oh, clothesline. Oh, my.
Yeah, he don't take a back seat to anybody with that move. That was a great move right now. He's got Arn hurt, got him injured, going for the pin right here.
Going for the pin right here. Got the leg hook, but Anderson too strong this early in the contest.
Too early. You've got to wear him down. It's very simple. Arn Anderson, you're not going to beat without really putting some time and effort into that situation.
Beautiful Bobby with that arm bar, putting pressure down and away from on the shoulder. They're in the ropes now. Senior referee Nick Patrick assigned this contest, but he got no clean break on that one. Anderson has a little size advantage, about 11 pounds.
Get back, let the man in the ring, Arn. Come on, 1, 2.
Oh, Eaton's head right into the top turnbuckle. You could hear that one. Great right.
Here's Bobby going up to the top. We're talking about the best that goes up there in these high-risk maneuvers. Bobby's one of them.
Wait a minute.
Brother, he's trying to slam him outside.
Oh, face first on the ramp.
No padding.
Yeah, right on that ramp. He threw him.
Hard it's just like cement. Now, there's people will ask, well, how did you pull that off? Well, you don't. Guess what? He got slammed off the top, and he landed on a immovable object.
And you just did too, pal, taking that back body drop right on that.
And it's what you sacrifice to go to a different level. You can't do that every match, every week. You just can't. You save it for situations like this.
Pay-per-view, right? Television
That's right.
title on the line.
Make it special.
Arn, I want to ask a question as we have it muted here right now as we're watching this. You kick out at 2. Do you remember, and I know this is a long time ago, we're talking 1991, but if you can recall what it have been like to put together a match like this with Bobby, who's calling it in the ring? You calling it in the ring, I'm assuming, or did you work with anybody in the back? Okay.
Nope. We just went out and we had worked enough together. We had a few things and we just call it. One thing I just shocked the shit out of me. I just noticed I'm losing my hair.
That's what you look like your whole career, Arn. Oh man, I think what makes it look a little bit more is it's a little blonder up top. You had put a little sun in it or something peroxide.
Summertime. It was summertime, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, May. So you're getting right into the summer months.
Brother, I've been out in that sun. I've been in that tanning bed. You know the theory.
Yeah. But also you got, like I said, them yellow trunks on. That tan's working for you. It's looking good, bud.
It's heat, ain't it?
Oh, yeah. And then now you're going to the outside of the ring. So like a spot like throwing him on the ramp off the top rope, that's something you call in the ring, or is that something you think about even before the match? Because that's not a normal spot you would have there in a match.
I would say we called 100% of this match.
Okay.
And it just, because we're doing some stuff, but we're not just running spots to where, you got to wrestle some. You got to work some holds. It's like selling one punch. It's like he knocked my head off of that clothesline. We didn't do anything after that for 30 seconds.
Yeah, it was the arm bar. It was that arm bar for a while. Now you got him in this knee lock here, just working the leg, Anderson style.
And your spots are being called as right now, going through all this stuff. You're not ever going to see it because part of your job in those days was to be a ventriloquist. You get your message out, but nobody sees your mouth move.
It's amazing.
Part of your job, man.
Even watching it now, though, knowing how it works, because back in 91, junior high school, whatever, not necessarily paying attention to the lips, but even sitting watching it now, knowing what you're doing, it's very hard to see that happening.
Yeah, you pride yourself on never, ever getting caught talking in the ring. And it was just easy to do it. It was just, you could just scream, hey, that's it. Ask him to give up. And then right on the end of the give up, you'd call something. So it was like all you heard was ask him if he's going to give up. You didn't hear backdrop, arm drag right behind it.
As a wrestler, your hearing better be good. That's
better be paying attention.
Yeah. And I love Bobby selling the leg there as he gets up and starts taking your head into the turnbuckles.
Yeah, and that's just, that was an everyday. Now, this is showbiz. I was a little ha-ha involved in that.
Yeah, the head into the turnbuckle, all the turnbuckles.
Yeah, all of them. But, you could get away with stuff like that as long as when you're running their head in, it looks legit. It quits being, come on, that's a bit much. But as long as they're solid, you can get away with it.
I love Jim Ross and Dusty on the mic here. We'll go back to a little bit of them here, and just let me know when you want to talk more.
Here at Super Brawl, thank you for being a part of this, ladies and gentlemen, on pay-per-view.
You better back it up off these ropes and you would have choked the man in the
Bobby Eaton's in a lot of pain right here. Arn Anderson knows exactly what he's doing.
Right hand.
You talked about it. There it was.
Sweet home Alabama.
You talked about it. Alabama jam right in your face. But Bobby's having a hard time keeping his feet, brother. That knee's been broken down. It's hurting. I know how it feels.
Now Anderson working on the leg. That's a good move for Anderson right now. He's continuing to work on the leg. As we have said, it's lessening the mobility of beautiful Bobby Eaton.
Well, he just broke him down. I mean, he took 3 hard shots, 3 hard right hands. The last one put him down, but once he was down, he spotted the victim's leg, and this was Bobby Eaton's weak point at this point. He went back to it. He's not only catching his breath at this point, he's not only putting punishment on that knee, that he is wearing Bobby Eaton out.
Arn Anderson trying to get a submission victory here. Nick Patrick asking Eaton if he wants to give it up. Drops right down on the leg. Boy, Eaton wants this championship so badly that I know he won't quit, but he may be endangering his own career right now.
Yeah, but Bobby Eaton, as we know, he's been there before. And right here, now this here is a punishing move. That's not used to have a guy say, oh, I quit, uncle, I quit. That's to get him really torn down, knee out of socket. Then you look him in the eye and say, you want any more? And he'll either say, yes, I do, or no, I don't.
Arn Anderson front face lock, trying to go for a suplex. Eaton trying to extend his body and reverse it. He couldn't get him up and over. He could not get him. He couldn't execute it all.
It wasn't. It was.
Just real quick, Bobby selling his leg. That was a shitty suplex, and the story is he did it off of one leg. That's storytelling.
And Jim Ross is all over it too on the call for the viewer. That's what I love.
They're all over the selling. Or making it easy from, it's his leg is injured, my arm is injured. It's just a back and forth story.
And Jim is calling it, like he said, like a sportscaster, like if you were a play-by-play guy, and that's what I like too. They're not talking about who's facing who in the next match and the storyline of that. Their focus is 100% in on what you two are doing to each other and telling that story.
Yes, sir.
A big mistake. And when Arn Anderson, the enforcer, is in a match like this, he don't make many mistakes.
Both men back up. Oh, what a right hand. And that caught Anderson. Anderson cannot afford to take too many of those rights and retain his championship.
Well, he's staggering on 2 right here.
Kick right above the heart. There's a snap mare.
You see how he moved him around then? Spun him around, got him in position right here.
Taking a chance. Oh, he pulled the knees up.
He pulled the knees up, but he pulled a bad knee up.
And Anderson caught him.
That's it, my friend.
Oh, spine buster slam shook the rafters. Lateral press. Beautiful Bobby. This is all. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Bobby Eaton, he reached way down. He reached way back, got some of that Alabama pride right there.
Anderson may be just moments away from retaining his championship. Eaton with a right hand caught Anderson right in the abdomen. Beautiful Bobby measures him. There's the neck breaker. Anderson incapacitated here.
Bobby's going to have to pin him down here now because we know he can't go up to the top. We know his leg's weak. What's he doing here? I believe this is a mistake.
Beautiful Bobby is limping, but he's going up top. Will it be the Alabama Jam? That's Barry Windham and Flying Brian.
That is
Alabama Jam. Up the
we
top.
got one. We got one, baby.
And ladies and gentlemen,
we got a new world television champion.
WCW World Television Champion. Beautiful Bobby.
For all the skeptics that said it couldn't be done, for all those that said he was a tag team wrestler and nothing else. Oh, what the neck breaker!
Here he goes right into the neck breaker right here. He's got the neck breaker on him, Bobby. I mean, it's definitely in here right now. I believed he couldn't do it. He went up to the top. Right here, the Alabama Jam. You see Brian Pillman, payback, my friend, a world television champion, Bobby Eaton.
Ladies and gentlemen, the heavyweight champion.
Do I have to say it?
Say it.
They cut away down the count.
Oh, man.
And on the replay, they didn't show the count.
No, they went right out to talking about Ric Flair's match after that.
After how easy that was to just follow around from a production standpoint, because we didn't do something so quick that you missed it. It was easy, but the most important part of the match,
I know,
they
man.
cut away to see two guys in the distance.
That sucks so bad for his big moment. And that's what you do. You pan off to see the trail of Barry and Pillman running to the back. Whatever.
There had to be another camera angle with the count in it. You had to, before you did the replay, you got to find it and go, let me see the 1, 2, 3. But anyway, that aside,
tremendous match, buddy. It showcased both what you and Bobby brought to the table in that era of wrestling. There's no doubt about it.
Well, the one thing I'd like for whoever watches this, if they watch it with a clean slate in their head, to remember it was a different time and it didn't take, falling out of the ceiling on somebody to beat them. Selling, making everything credible, make your story easy to follow, and sell for each other. Sell for each other. That's the most important thing. I got away with that doing the cucaracha off of those punches, and they bought every bit of it. And it was all ha-ha. It really wasn't even my style to do something like that. But it worked. It fit.
It did. It was snug. It was realistic. It was believable. All those things. You guys told a great story. You worked the body parts. He sold. You could hear him yelling and screaming in pain, writhing in pain. You sold. It was just a really good classic wrestling match. And to be able to put over your best friend Arn and to give him his first singles championship, I mean, that was cool, man. How much fun was that to go back and watch?
It was my honor. I will never be more honored to do anything that I've done in the business than that night, because that was just coming out party as a single wrestler. And, well, there it was. There was the example. Go back and dissect it. If there was anybody better, I don't know who it was.
Well, Arn, that was a real treat for me to be a part of that with you. And we had a number of fans that wrote in with some questions about this event. So we're going to do it rapidly, and then we're going to get out of here for this week's episode. Tom Danucci wrote in. He said, the tape fist match between Pillman and Barry is my favorite match on this card. Did Arn ever compete in a tape fist match? And what can he share with us about these particular style of matches?
Yeah, I had some of those. The key is, the story is, when you tape your fists, they become superior to what they were without the tape. They become weapons. It's, you're taped up, fist is taped, you can bust somebody open pretty easily, and that's usually the payoff for a tape fist match. So sell the fact that your punches are bigger than they were a week ago without the tape, and somebody's got to bleed.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the payoff. Somebody has to bleed. It's like a cage match with nobody bleeding. Why?
Doesn't make a bit of sense. I don't even know how some companies still do war games or cage matches at all with there's no blood, but it is what it is. Drew Landry's up next, and he explains to us fans. He says, guys, listen, I watched more WWF than WCW, and I'm just realizing, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. He said, explain to us fans that watched more WWF than WCW just how underrated Flying Brian was. We'll talk about his time in the Horsemen later, but tell us about his performance and charisma.
Well, I mean, the guy was a, superior athlete. He was, when he played in the NFL for the Cincinnati Bengals, his job was to go down Suicide Squad on a kickoff, go down and bust the wedge. That was his sole job. And at that time, he was probably 230. He's wrestling at about, right at maybe 200 pounds. And you're having a lot of guys, most guys were bigger than him, but he used some speed. Once he got in our business, he figured out he's going to have to use his whole body to knock some guys down. Drop kicks, missile drop kicks, things off the top. And he was smart enough to not try to overpower you. He would outmaneuver you.
Yeah.
And those chops or those little stubby hands of his hurt like a son of a bitch. I think one night during the match, I actually looked at him after about 5 of those and I said, don't hit me again tonight. And shoved him away. I was so frustrated. He was eating me up.
Oh, man.
And it was just, I guess how I worded it, he knew that it was a little more than me just working. But damn, he was stinging the shit out of me. Leaving handprints, big time. Bloody ones.
Dude, he was, I remember when he used to come down to Def Leppard Rocket. He was a rocket in that ring. He could fly, but he had power, and he could do it all, man.
Yeah, he was very, very talented, very athletic, awesome. And, he could work high spots, he could sell, and he was a handsome kid. The girls loved him, tan, good body, all the things you should do as a professional.
Full head of hair. I mean, he checked all the boxes.
Full head of hair.
Brian Harems is up next, and he asked the following. You have a show in Winston-Salem canceled due to selling only 70 tickets. With Winston-Salem being such a Crockett staple, is it demoralizing to see those fans reject this new wrestling company? How do other Crockett people feel about the decline of this particular town, Winston-Salem, around this time?
So we went to Winston-Salem around the same time and did 70 people with WCW.
You canceled the show, yeah.
There's no way I can explain that. Thank God that God has taken it from my memory. Because I never been on a show my entire career. Even independent shows back then would do 150 people.
Yeah,
with
right.
no TV, and they ran every Saturday night,
And so, you guys were like, man, that's Horseman country, bro. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
He's the one, Brian's the one, and he's the guy who has that book, and he's doing all the research, that history of WWE.com book and the WCW years. So he's finding out a lot of gold, a lot of information. He also wants to know, he said, you have a show in Omaha, Nebraska during this month. And as someone who lives in Nebraska, do you have any fun stories or memories from touring here in Nebraska?
What month are we in now?
This is May 1991, summer.
Thank God, because I know that in the wintertime, man, it gets really, really cold out there. Lincoln did pretty well for us, I think, as well as, what was the other town?
He's in Omaha.
Omaha. Omaha is a sports city. Don't they have the Little League World Series in Omaha?
I believe so. Yes, sir.
And
they also have Omaha steaks out there too.
Overrated. Have you had them?
I have, and I'm with you 100%.
They don't travel well.
Yeah.
No offense, folks, but think I just go up the street about 1.5 miles to the Harris Teeter and grab me one fresh.
I like
Something about that frozen and traveling, and not impressed. Sorry, guys.
There you go. Well, Brian, thanks for the questions. Continue to bring them every week. Amy Vaughn is up next, the first lady of the Arn Anderson fan club. You know who she is, and she's got a few questions. She says, does Arn think Bobby Eaton should go into the WWE Hall of Fame as a single performer or within a tag team like the Midnight Express?
Midnight Express.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
That's, to be in the Hall of Fame, in my humble opinion, means you had to have had a career that had an impact on the industry, and not over just a minute, over a collection of works over time, consistency and dependability, and all the things that go into a Hall of Fame career. And it should be special. It should be not quite as full as it is, I think, and it depends on what Hall of Fame you're referring to. But, in our business, it needs to be, like I said, quality work, quality dependability, storytelling, all those things, always show up, never miss a town, all those things that go into a Hall of Fame career. That's the most important thing, I think, a body of work.
Completely agree. She also asked if you are aware of the reason that Bobby Eaton only holds the title here for 3 weeks. He loses it to Steve Austin, who goes on to hold it for almost a year. Any recollection why Bobby only holds the belt here for 3 weeks?
Because Austin, I guess, was the next big thing, and somebody saw it. And to be honest with you, I don't look at that. Bobby didn't need a title for you to appreciate his work. He's one of those guys that his work just made the fact that he was a champion more appealing. But, you didn't need to put a title on Bobby to get Bobby's work over to the people. And Austin was, he was new and fresh, and man, the guy was something special. You could tell he had it, and it was probably just good timing.
Finally, Amy wrote in, Arn is noted as having 4 reigns with the TV title. How do you like that? 4 reigns, like a 4 horsemen. Total of 870 days. How did he feel about the TV title being retired in 2000 and Jim Duggan being the last champion, claiming to have found it in the dumpster after Scott Hall threw it in there?
It was a different time. It was a different championship. It only means what it means to you. You can either make it matter or not. And I think that every time I carried it to the ring, I was telling everybody in that arena, I'm fixing to give you whatever the time limit is with all I got.
John Owens is up next, Arn. He said this match was during one of the few brief babyface runs for Bobby Eaton. What did Arn think of Bobby working face? I felt like it just never clicked for me.
Well, you will always remember Bobby for his success being a rat bastard part of the Midnight Express, and that's the way he should be remembered. But, it's just like the times that I was designated as a babyface. I hated it. People were just waiting for me to kick somebody's knee out from under them. And when expectations are that high, you shouldn't necessarily swim upstream. But I just think that Bobby, that they were trying to find a place for Bobby, but they really weren't devoting any time and effort into making it plausible for the audience.
All right, Arn, a few more questions and then we'll wrap up. Brian Fuller wants to know about Bobby's shoe collection, and he asked the following question. Did Bobby Eaton's shoe collection get sold off by his family? I bet you all thought he was crazy collecting shoes, but it seems like it was a good investment when you look at the market for them today with the internet and such.
Well, I bet nobody resold them. That's the problem. Bobby had probably 25, 30 pair of tennis shoes, but he wore them all. I don't think it were ever resold unless there's a story that I don't know about. There is.
No, I'm saying you would know better than us. So
I just don't see Bobby as looking at it as a collector. He was just a guy that came from humble beginnings, much like myself, that suddenly found himself making enough money to buy any. Some guys bought jewelry. Some guys bought bigger houses than they needed. Some bought cars nicer than they needed, more expensive. Bobby's thing was tennis shoes, and he found himself in a position to spend $100 on a pair of tennis shoes. I never spent $100 on tennis shoes in my life, so that was his thing.
But he wasn't the guy displaying them in his closet. He was the guy, if you bought them, he wore them. That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Eric writes and he says he wants to know, with a talent such as Bobby Eaton, did you prefer wrestling him or teaming with him?
Both. Can't pick one over the other. He was so good as a tag team guy. We got to the point where we're kind of on the same page that me and Tully and him and Dennis were. We would just give a look, slap yourself on the knee, and when he comes your way, hit him with a knee. You knew what I meant. It was sign language, and I learned so much from him. But wrestling him as an opponent too, you just really appreciated how good he was.
Lenny Botkin's going to wrap us up. He says Ric Flair has many times said this was a low point for him as he lost his confidence when Jim Herd had no faith in him. Does Arn recall seeing this decline in confidence, and did Rick ever talk to him about it at this time?
Oh yeah, it was obvious. You can't tell a guy who's had the career up until that point that he's had, I want to cut your hair and make you Spartacus. It's just, you want to say that again? What? And it just, you tell a guy that's on top of his game, that works as hard as Rick did at that time at getting everybody that he worked with over properly and doing all the things a champion should. You can't just reach in and Rick's thing, what was the thing that you noticed about Ric Flair? That white head full of hair.
Yeah, that's gone.
So you're going to eliminate that right off the get-go? Be like Elvis out there in Daisy Dukes and a turtleneck.
Right.
Yeah. For what? He needs his jumpsuit on. He needs his sunglasses on.
You need the brand. The brand. That's what it's all about, the Flair brand.
Be the guy.
That's right. Lenny also wants to know what memories and first impressions you have from meeting Mark Marrow for the very first time. Johnny B. Bad.
Yeah, he handsome guy, good body, and boy was he tanned.
Yeah.
Holy smokes, but a good physique, good athlete. Found out he was a Golden Glove boxer. Very athletic. Everything about him was like star quality except the damn pop gun thing. I could never really get around that too much. Just didn't fit. The guy was a thoroughbred stud.
Golden Gloves boxer.
Yeah. Knock your friggin' head off.
Yeah.
Probably did some amateur wrestling. I don't know if we ever even discussed that, but he had all the credentials. It's just that damn pop gun thing threw me off a little bit, cheesy.
The glitter gun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, listen, bud, that's going to wrap up our coverage of May 1991. Arn, the first Super Brawl in the books. It featured all the four horsemen. Sid's gone, though, and political tensions with Herd and Flair are rolling to a boil. Before we get to that part of the story, however, next week we're going to do Ask Arn Anything, and I know it's one of our favorite shows to do. We are going to do them once a month this year, and that really gives the opportunity for our fans' voices to be heard and to get to know the enforcer on a personal basis. So, guys, listen, we appreciate all your support and sending in those questions. I guarantee you we're not going to get through all of them, but we're going to do it every month, so keep them coming in. Guys, listen, check out arnlinks.com and order your merchandise from Box of Gimmicks and support Arn. Whether it's the hats, whether it's the Arn jackets that are now in stock, the T-shirts, if you're on our YouTube channel that Arn and I are both wearing today, they're available there, and a lot of hoodies. It's that time of the year where you can hunker down and put on an awesome hoodie. All of the merchandise is over there, and we definitely appreciate your support. Arn, thank you so much for doing this with me today.
Paul, you're doing a great job, my man. Everybody I talk to, they all say they like what we're doing, so let's keep it up.
You got it, my friend. Listen, on behalf of the founder of the Four Horsemen, the Hall of Famer, his name is Arn Anderson. This is Paul Bromwell, and you've been listening to Arn. We'll see you right here next week.